What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, I would say we've been talking a lot about the casting for Avengers 5 here recently, but incidentally, we already did a video covering this exact same topic earlier this morning with the apparent first absence, but now the return of Doctor Strange to Avengers 5. But probably the biggest name amongst all of these confirmations we're hearing for the upcoming cast, outside of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, was easily Chris Evans returning as Captain America, and since then, fans have had a ton of theories about what role he's going to play, most likely a Hydra Cap or an evil variant from across the multiverse, as we think Doctor Doom may be looking to assemble some version of his Dark Avengers to fight against what heroes are left as we enter Battleworld, and to be honest, that is right up the alley of the psychological warfare that Doctor Doom likes to play. Still, we got an update today coming from none other than Chris Evans himself, talking about the fact that he is not in Avengers 5. We're going to cover this latest article breaking by Variety, what he exactly said, and of course break it down in the context of the fact that there happens to be a Captain America movie right around the corner. We're breaking it all down, Chris Evans' latest update for whether or not he's returning in Avengers 5 Doomsday. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, that's all we do, so if you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That automatically enters you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so again, this was the latest breaking about an hour ago, maybe a little bit longer than that before my editor gets this video up, in an article from Variety under the headline, Chris Evans denies returning to Marvel for Avengers Doomsday and says that's not true, I'm happily retired. End quote. They go on to report Anthony Mackie and Chris Evans spent 5 years making Marvel movies together as Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers. Their characters were close friends. Steve gave him the shield. You guys know the story. They go on to say, so what did Anthony Mackie make of the surprise news that Evans is returning in Marvel's 2026 Avengers Doomsday? To which he replied, I don't know, Mackie told Esquire magazine as part of a new cover story. I talked to Chris a few weeks ago and it wasn't on the table then. At least he didn't tell me it was on the table because I asked him. I was like, you know, they say they're bringing back everybody for the new movie, so are you coming back then? And he goes, oh, you know, I'm happily retired. And Mackie says, I learned that right here. My manager showed me. He's like, oh, I guess Chris is coming back. That's all I know. I haven't seen the script. Then they go on to say, quote, however, Evans also spoke to Esquire for the magazine's Mackie cover story and disputed the report that he will be back for the next Avengers movie. While the actor last appeared as Captain America in Endgame, and he did a surprise cameo last year in Deadpool and Wolverine as Johnny Storm Human Torch, this is what he had to say about this rumored appearance. Quote, that's not true though. Evans said about the report claiming he's coming back to Marvel again. This always happens. I mean, it happens every couple of years, ever since Avengers Endgame. I stopped responding to it. Yeah, no. I'm happily retired. Okay, so as I've learned from the comments over the last 5 or 6 years, the people who are diehards here in the Everything Always community are pretty skeptical already. That's why, you know, I do a pretty good job of trying to weed through the absolute nonsense. But what is it you were expecting Chris Evans to say when he's doing a cover story for Anthony Mackie's new Captain America movie, which incidentally drops in like 2 weeks? Oh yeah, I'm definitely coming back. Let me drop a spoiler. Let me have Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios mad at me. Let me undercut the fact that Anthony Mackie's now about to be Captain America and tell everybody to just wait a year because I'll be back under the mantle. Like, literally the most logical line of thinking. Of course he was going to deny it. And also, saying you're retired when you were in a Marvel movie literally less than a year ago is pretty much like LCD Sound System retiring for the 10th time so they can sell a bunch of tickets coming out of retirement the next year. And I swear, in their case, nobody even knew who they were till they retired the first time. Subject for a different video or a different channel. In the meantime, of course, Chris Evans was going to deny his return, and he's not going to get it as bad as, say, Andrew Garfield ever got it in the first place, so it's very easy for him to be like, simply no. What I think is more interesting is that Marvel Studios sort of made a conscious decision, you saw it with Deadpool and Wolverine, to start trying to shoot some of their major action sequences back on live location over in London, like they're doing for Avengers 5, because they're really trying to avoid that soundstage wash look that you get for, say, Quantumania, where, you know, you can suspend disbelief, but when you look at the background, you can sort of tell it's not there. Shooting on location is always going to look better. The reason they don't do a lot of that is because it spoils cameos. Look, we obviously know that Ewan Griffith, whose name I guess I have never said right even one correct time, including the time I just said it now, is probably going to be back for the Fantastic Four. He was literally outside for 5 seconds with a jacket draped over him, and everybody figured that out. Makes it really difficult to take actors like Chris Evans and parade them out into the middle of the desert like they did for Deadpool and Wolverine and hope that people aren't going to see it. Now, in Chris Evans' case, wherever and however they shot that undercover, no one did see it. That footage didn't leak out, but when you're outside, the risk is just going to be too high. And I think in a couple of months here, when that footage starts coming out, we're going to get some really interesting reveals of just who and what is on set. In the meantime, all these rumors of the Avengers returning as evil variants of themselves possibly isn't just rooted in fan fiction. Fans didn't just make this up and sort of will it into reality. This is part of that Variety article that I happened to reference in a real recent video that dropped right before the Marvels came out in late 2023 that referenced Marvel basically being in shambles and that their plans included pivoting off of Kang to Doctor Doom and bringing back the big three in Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, and Robert Downey Jr. They just stopped short of saying in that article that news would actually overlap and RDJ would take the Doctor Doom role. Plus, I think the pitch is pretty clear here, and you just follow in the footsteps of the blueprint that Robert Downey Jr. just laid down, right? Chris Evans' whole thing has been he doesn't want to mess up the Steve Rogers Cap story that he thought was absolutely awesome and they stuck the landing. He just didn't want to revisit it if there wasn't a really urgent reason to. Playing a variant, some other character, a different version of yourself means that you, in essence, leave that story intact the basic way that they're saying Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is a variant and not the one that died in Logan. And since that's on the table and Robert Downey Jr. has already taken the plunge, I think in a lot of ways that basically cleared the path, set the blueprint, and allows Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans to whatever reservations they had in the first place about doing this, get over that, hey, look, RDJ did it, this is what we're doing now, it's evil variants, it's cool, it's not just us returning. Which, I mean, look, if you think that precludes them as coming back as their original versions too from somewhere across the multiverse to eventually battle against Doom, you're wrong. I think the possibility of that's on the table and it could all be dual roles, but for the immediate future, I think that's the pitch, that's the sell, and that's where we're going to end up in Avengers Doomsday. And when all that behind the scenes footage starts coming out live on set, it's going to be interesting to see if we can catch a glimpse of any of these actors and confirm the cameos. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below though, and if you believe he's telling the truth. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel for the foreseen future, and because there are so many Marvel drops this year, there are a lot of PS5s. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the other giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.